Hello and welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator. My name is William Lebowski. Welcome back if you're joining us from the earlier episodes over on TopSim, where we landed in Hana on Maui, and now we are on leg 4, where we are going from Hana to the Big Island. And then from there we will go from the Big Island all the way down to Kauai, and from Kauai we will fly all the way back up to Oahu for the final leg. And you can see they're estimating that's going to be about another like 5+ hours. Hopefully it won't take us that long. Let's see how long it will actually take us. Looks like we do have to fly all the way around the Big Island at this point, and it's not just reaching it and then turning around. So I guess this might take a little bit longer than anticipated. So we don't really need our VFR map. We don't really need our nav log. It is telling us it is a little bit of a long flight. So let's strap in. Let's see what happens here. There we go. Whoa there, Sally. Okay, a little bit of a short runway here, but definitely not concerned with this plane getting off the ground. Looks like we will take off immediately following the coast, going right. You know, I've been to this airport before. I've never flown in or out of it, but I've seen it, I've been to it, and it looks much shorter than this. And the planes that land on there seem to really take the whole runway, and as you can see, we definitely didn't take advantage of the whole runway, but we had our own problems. All right, I don't know where our flaps are at. Yeah, let's pull those up. All right. We are good to go now. We just got to get ourselves some elevation. Continue on our merry way. Let's see. Take a look at Haleakala one more time. Well, probably not our last time, but let's just take a look at this end of it. We can see we are on the far end of it. Whoop. Getting a little off center there. Being that we are about to fly over some ocean, we should probably get pretty high. I think they probably recommended the flight log 7,000 feet. Yeah, I can see it, 7,000 feet on our GPS in front of us. So we'll try to get ourselves climbing as best as we can without losing too much speed. Some fancy resorts, some fancy restaurants, and a little bit of agriculture. Alright, so we're pretty close to our flight plan here. Although we have to get 7 times higher in the sky than we currently are. So we got some patience to be had here, although we are keeping it pretty steady. Not going to climb too aggressively. We already are going pretty slow. $7,000 feet is definitely recommended, and from when we came from Oahu to Maui, I could definitely see why. It was definitely worth it. However, it took so long to get to 7,000 feet that just even now makes me question whether or not we should just try to fly even a little bit lower just to save us some time. But let's see where we're at when we're above like this the level of this cloud in front of us. Once we can get up to that level, we'll see what we're at. Because once we're over the ocean, there's not a whole lot to see. Let's see what we can see behind us. So, can't exactly even see Hana where we were from. Forget everything's backwards as we're looking this way. Let's take a look. There you can start to see the Kaupo Gap, I believe, as we leave the coast of Maui. Into the clouds. Yeah, we're only at 2,500 feet. This point. So we got some work cut out for us. I think we at least need to get to 5,000 feet. And I remember last time when we were over Molokai, we said we needed to get to 5,000 feet. And just for the short distance from Molokai to Maui, that was okay. So maybe that'll be fine here, although it is a bigger distance. We can see on our instrumentation in front of us that we should be able to just look out and see the big island already. And I think if it weren't for the obstruction of the clouds, we probably would be looking right at it. But while we're here, let's level off a little bit. I'm not really afraid of these clouds. We're not really missing any views, so I'm not necessarily afraid of just going by instruments at this point. This plane is well more than outfitted to be easy to fly through the clouds. So we'll just pick up some speed while we're here. Alright, so naturally, being full throttle like this, we'll start kicking back up. We'll allow it to climb, because we're already over 5 degrees of a climb there. Oh, just falling a little bit below it, but I think we might go up and down, up and down, up and down. But in the long run, I think we'll probably end up in that positive gaining altitude, and that'll work. And I'm not even touching the yoke at this point, but we don't have to put on any kind of autopilots or anything like that, because even if something were to happen, you can just grab the yoke. But yeah, we are officially over the ocean at this point. Maui is see ya later, gone to Maui. It is gone. In Oahu. The Big Island's still not that visible, or even at all yet. Looks like it's shrouded behind some clouds still. Although on the instrumentation, it seems like we should be looking right at it. Maybe I'm starting to see something through the clouds. We got plenty of time. It's funny because of how easy to use the instrumentation is in front of me. In this activity is a lot of sightseeing. It's really beautiful, and so that the combination of those two means you don't have to focus on the navlog or the VFR map at all. You just use the fancy instrumentation in front of you, and it's so convenient, and it's the perfect combination for this activity. Downside is I don't exactly know how much time we have left, but we are still full gas, so we are moving as fast as it's possible. And to be frank, I don't think that the Big Island is terribly scenic. I know there are some people it's their favorite island, but I don't think there's not much there in terms of tourism. There's not that much there in terms of like nightlife. There's not that much there in terms of, it's all lava fields, and it's a lot muggier and a lot hotter because of the way that the wind blows and the way that the volcanoes are positioned in the cities, and it just didn't have as much of the appeal to me that all of the other islands have. But maybe that's just a little bit of bias on my side. Looks like we're starting to see either Mauna Kea or Mauna Loa. I'm not exactly sure which one that would be through the clouds on the Big Island. So we should be getting pretty close at this point, but it seems like we still are a little bit ways to go, especially considering we have to go all the way around the island and not just, again, make contact to it and then hitch and run. We got to go all the way around, so it'll be still a little bit before we really make contact with the island. Alright, let's see, days. We're making landfall, actually a little bit quicker than we would have expected. Looks like we're flying over the island, actually. Not exactly on the coast. Then again, I'm sure our flight plan will take us around the coast, and we'll take a turn once we get over there, I'm sure. But let's drop out of the sky a little bit. Falling through the clouds right now. Yeah, we can see there's our next flight plan making us follow along the coast. Let's actually go ahead and pull up our nav log. So leave, okay, so it's recommended that you climb to 7,500 feet until you see the coast, and then you can descend to 1,000 feet. So it looks like now they want us to go down to 1,000 feet. Once you're flying along the shore, proceed southeast until you have Hilo International Airport off of your right wing. Fly towards the easternmost part of Hawaii, and as you pass that point, just as you see the Kapoho lava flow, 1960, and just south of that, the 2018 lava flow. Once past the easternmost point, follow the shore southwest. As you progress along the shore, you will have a fantastic view of previous lava flows. As you proceed southeast, you will come to the most southern point of the Hawaiian Islands. Here it is you will turn. It is here that you will turn northwest. Following the shore northwest, you will come to the Mauna Natural Area Reserve off of your right wing, about 10 nautical miles into this leg. And then we will look for Kona International Airport. So I think we're going to be seeing that coming up. I think they mentioned something about seeing... Oh no, Hilo. Okay, so Kona and Hilo, yeah. So we can drop down to 1,000 feet now at this point. That way we've reached our next checkpoint. Get back down by the coast. We can try to go see some lava fields, some lava flows, and then we'll bring it in for a landing. But this is going to be the big leg for the big island, which only makes sense. And there's going to be a lot of Jurassic Park vibes here on the big island here on the coastline. Even more when we get to Kauai. But you can already kind of see coming up ahead what I was talking about with those a little bit. So we're a little bit closer, and I think we're going to even get even closer yet than our flight plan would bring us. Let's just see how close we can enjoy the detail. We can probably bring our flaps back up. Let's just check where they're at. Yeah, flaps are all the way back now. Moving pretty fast as we're descending. Alright. Seems like as we're about to stall off, we're about to flatten out rather, we can bring the throttle back up. And there we go. We can check out this beautiful coastline in front of us now. These beautiful mountains. Now that we've enjoyed the view, let's head a little bit back closer to what our nav log is recommending. I'm looking forward to the point where we get to the lava fields, lava flowing areas, because that'll maybe be interesting. Honestly, maybe this is just personal bias. I've always been a little bit bored by the Big Island. It's just big, wide open spaces and sometimes some rocky fields, rocky lava fields. Maybe if you're a geologist, it's super cool, but I always get super bored at the Big Island. It's not exactly the beachy island that you pick. It's not exactly it doesn't exactly have the best weather of all the islands either. So it's just not my favorite place, and so it just seems like a little bit. This seems like a little bit of an endurance aspect, just completing it just to complete it sometimes. But we're continuing forward, trying to make our way clear around the island in this leg. Quite frankly, this is what I think of when I think of the Big Island. It's very foggy and very smoggy there a lot of the times. So this is the true experience we have right here. Alright, as we appear to be getting close to the most eastern point of the Hawaiian Islands, it seems like a good idea that we drop a little bit lower. Get a nice view here, best view we can, and make our way through the pass. So there it is, the easternmost point is in sight. I do see a runway lights on the right side, off at around maybe 3 o'clock. Runway lights, I guess it's only about 2 o'clock, coming off, and that looks like a tempting idea. I am getting a little bit bored just because I think this is a personal grudge, potentially. I'm just not a big fan of the Big Island. And so the thing about the Big Island is it's really big and it's all the same. So maybe we're looking at some that those geographical shapes maybe are from lava flows. No, I guess the island extends a little further than I thought. Not quite the easternmost point yet. Tricked us by a good bit. Let's see if the nav log mentions anything about seeing, well, it does, but Hilo International Airport, but I think that would have been earlier. Passing through the Kapoho. I thought we were going through those Kapoho lava fields now. Now we're going to the most southern point of the Hawaiian Islands. Most eastern and the most southern point of the Hawaiian Islands. So I guess now that I'm zooming out, we have a pretty far distance to go. And I'm gonna tell you what, we're cutting a corner here, because I'll be frank, the Big Island is my least favorite island. It's not terribly important that I see all of it. So we're gonna cut ourselves a little bit of a corner here. I wonder how this is going to affect the save. Well, we've definitely We've definitely cut a big chunk out of this corner. You can see on our map how much of this corner we've cut, although we are still pretty much over the coastline, still over this easternmost part. So that's not, I don't think, I'm not going to feel guilty about that at all. And in fact, we'll go ahead and cut, the next corner a little bit, because I don't necessarily see the sights over here in the big. Again, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being biased again against the Big Island here, Big Island hate. But I just feel like it's once you've seen some of the Big Island, you've seen all of the Big Island. There's not a whole lot of it to see, and it's so big, it's so massive, and it's all boring and the same. So we're gonna cut some corners, see how that does. Hopefully we still get completion. But yeah, I don't feel like we need to just follow the coast completely. I feel like we're following it pretty well enough at this point. So you can see on the map that we have started to cut the flight log, and we will continue to cut it more aggressively as it extends out southernwardly. As the flight log extends out more south, we will continue to cut it more north and cut the corner a little bit more extreme. Again, I feel like once you've seen a lot of the Big Island, you've seen enough of it, and we will head back to our airport. So it does look like we're about to kind of scale the side of this volcano, and as it is very large and huge and over 10,000 feet, I'm going to need to gain some elevation as we're sitting about 6,000 right now. It looks like we might collide with it before we're trying to go over it. So let's try to gain a little bit of elevation here as we cut this corner and clear this part of the volcano. And we can then bring ourselves down rapidly on the other side of the island to our airport. So we have cut a pretty substantial part of the flight path off, and it's so far successful as it has been saving, and it looks like we're just barely inching our way up to clear this part of the volcano that we are trying to pass at. And then from there, it should be as simple as slowly losing elevation and then making our way to the airport. But we are getting to a little bit of a dangerously slow speed right here. So I'm just going to try to gain as much elevation as aggressively as possible without really trying to get too slow. I'm trying to hold it right at about 5 degrees. But as you can see, we are dropping speed still. So I will take advantage of as much of this buffer as we can. Then I'll flatten it out right about now, just because we gotta have some speed, otherwise we're gonna find ourselves stalling right over our apex, so to say. All right, gained a little bit more speed, use that to gain some elevation. We're only sitting at 7,000 feet right now, just under it, and ideally we'd be passing this at like 8 or 9 or even 10,000 feet. Just really did not gain as aggressively as we needed to, or as I thought we were, in fact. So we're getting slow again. This computer is telling me that so far, if I just hold it even lower than this, we'll make it just fine. So let's try that. Let's see if we can just hold it just above where the horizon of the mountain is. If we can still, yeah, we're gaining a little bit of speed, keeping it under 5. I think this is going to work. I think it's going to be a little bit close. I mean, this is more exciting to me than going down by the coast. I mean, this whole adventure or activity has just been flying on the coasts. So I can do a lot more coast flying for the rest of this activity, but doing this challenge where we're trying to get over the top of the volcano safely is a lot more fun to me. All right, it's getting close now. We're getting very close. See what it looks like from the outside. Yeah, we're getting pretty close over to some terrain. You can see relatively close to the top at this point. So let's just get back in the cockpit, focus on what we need to do. Going a little bit slow here, so we gotta be careful about that. Worst case scenario, we'll just have to turn down the hill. You know, let's do that a little bit already, just because we're running so slow on speed that we don't really have any room at this point. Oh man. We are dangerously close to a stall, and if we stall here, that's going to be a very long restart. So we're getting a little bit too cavalier here. So we're cutting down in elevation right now, cutting down the mountain a bit, which should allow us to pick up some speed as well as give us a little bit more clearance over the top here. So far not picking up any speed. We are like just over the trees. These shrubs, whatever it is. We are still losing speed. Alright, let's gain some speed. We gotta drop a little bit here. A little bit of give so we can take it a little bit of take. This is tight. Let's see how close off the ground are we. Ooh, we're pretty close off the ground. Oh, this is what I call low and slow. This might not have been the time saver that we were hoping it to be. '86, 85 knots. We're really flirting with disaster here. All right, let's let it drop down a little bit, pick up a little bit of speed. All right, looks like there should be an aggressive, very, very aggressive drop-off in elevation soon on the other side of what we're looking at here. So 74,000 feet. It's okay. Let's see. Keep our angle of attack even lower. I really just want to cut it hard right, just see if we can just power up, but I know we can't. We're already struggling just to continue where we are. Too bad we're not something like a jet. Not a whole lot of margin for error for what we're doing right now. But we should be reaching the edge of this island so soon. Starting just by looking at the map on the right, starting to think the worst of our elevation is behind us. Looks like we are slowly gaining speed. It's like very slowly gaining speed. So this might be okay. I think what we're looking at are lava fields, but they look a little bit more like poo-poo or shadows. So yeah, the lava field's not necessarily rendered perfectly. Alright, let's drop ourselves a little bit. Oh, that's so low. That is so low. We are flying right over these lava fields. Okay. We've officially lost 100% margin for error. We are completely on our razor's edge at this point. I don't even really want to know how close we are. Just judging by what I'm looking at on this monitor right in front of me, if I can keep our speed and angle of attack right where it's at right now, we're going to clear. We're going to clear all the terrain. It won't be a problem. We can make that hard right soon enough. Just over this little hump here. Everything's going to be fine. Cutting this very close. I gotta avoid this little bump, I feel like. Yep, I do. We are very close to the ground. We are very slow and very close to the ground right now. And it looks like we're just about to clear it. Let's see. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. All right. I think that's it. I think that's the hard part. I think we've done it. That was as aggressively as we could have cut that corner. But now we just go make our way down volcano here towards the ocean and land at the airport. So we can go ahead and cut some more corner, bring ourselves down to the coast. That's what we're talking about. Tied a little bit of excitement there. Huge sense of relief there. Alright, let's make our way down. We can see we're pretty now steep trajectory away from the coast. We are 7,000 feet up in the air. So we can probably drop down here as we make our approach. Where are we? I think we're flying into Hilo International. Kona. We're flying into Kona. Huge runways in Kona. Runway 17. Looks like the only runway in Kona. Okay. I think, can we call this final approach? I think so. There's no way I can already, is that the airport I'm already looking at down there? I feel like it must be further than I'm thinking. I wonder if we even saved ourselves time there. Or if going so slow over the lava fields like that were just costing us more time than anything. Ourselves down. We don't need all of this altitude. Haven't dropped that much, only 1,500 feet so far. Probably level ourselves out at about 5,000 feet for our approach. So yeah, just let it sit here. What happens? Whoa, whoa. Why all of a sudden are we just flying, all of a sudden the nose just takes off. What's happening there? Looks like we might be moving ourselves in a little bit more quickly than pictured. At least hopefully. You know what? That actually is the airport right over there, I think. Let's get ourselves down a little lower even. Wait, which way is that runway facing? Yeah. It's a little hard to spot the runway, but I think I've got it. I think we gotta line ourselves up a little bit better. I hope I'm looking at the actual runway here. I might not be. Still a good idea to get under these clouds here. Ourselves in. Still have yet to visually spot the airport. Of course, can't see anything right now going through this cloud. But hopefully, as we make our way through it, when we come out at the bottom of it, we'll be able to get a better look at where we're trying to spot the landing. So far, I'm not getting any visual on it yet. Let's see. Maybe our nav log will have... So it looks like it runs parallel to the coast. So that's something to keep in mind. If it's over right around here, be a little bit screwed. So we're gonna have to go ahead and get a nice spot on this airport first. Man, I really hope we're able to get some visual references on it before we get any closer. Although we could still be further away than I think. So there's that little bay that we're flying in front of now. And it'll come out, stick out there. Boom. Oh, okay. So we got to get to the other side of that little... Peninsula is the wrong word, but that little piece of land that jets out at 12 o'clock directly in front of us, we got to get on the other side of that, if my spidey senses are correct. So we still have a good bit to cruise here. Let's see if we can get our trim adjusted. Way. I think that'll do. All right. Finally, looks like we're able to come in for a landing on the Big Island. Seems like we've been in the sky for so long. This is probably one of my longer flights. I think we're sitting at an hour and a half. This probably is up there with them, if not the longest one that I've done in flight sim so far. Let's see, still no spot on the airport yet. Potentially looking right at it. To line ourselves up a little bit better than we currently are. If where I think I am seeing it is the place I'm seeing it. And, as we remember from that image we saw in our nav log, it looks like we're looking for a runway that runs parallel to the shore. So I'm just getting ready to be prepared to run parallel to where we're looking at on the map, even though I'm not exactly seeing it visually yet. It looks like our nav log kind of brings us in perfectly, but you never know. Zoom in another little bit here. There we go. Still a little further out, I think, than I think I am. But that'll help us as we get closer. See, I must be looking at the airport right over there. Just to the right of my compass, I think, is the runway. It just seems like where it adds up. Yeah, that looks like a strip. It looks like a little runway, a little strip of pavement there. So I think I'll try to line myself up with that just right. I don't think that the flight plan has it down perfectly. Obviously, it took us there perfectly. Yeah, I think we gotta line ourselves a little bit more off this way. I'm really looking forward to getting this plane on the ground. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Yeah, that's definitely got to be a runway that we're looking at about 1 o'clock. So let's pull back on the throttle. Let's bring it down to 2400 RPM. 2440, 2430, 2420, 2410, 2400. Looks like our, dropping down even a little bit lower. Got down to 2370. Alright, we're coming in clean. I think what we're looking at is most certainly a runway. It's most certainly an airport. So I think we've lined ourselves up as good as it gets, as in advance as it gets as well. So we just gotta bring it in, be patient. Got plenty of time. Don't know how our RPMs dropped so much there. I don't think I moved the throttle since last setting it at 24. Man, why is everything so much further away than it looks? Yeah, we're coming in for landing. Let's get ourselves a little bit more straightened out. We're definitely not quite lined up on our approach. All right, coming in now. Gotta straighten ourselves up a little bit. Not too concerned about our elevation. We got a pretty, we're going pretty slow right now, so I'm like that we're this high because we got a kind of a good distance to our runway still. So let's drop down a little bit. Got a nice long runway, so we don't have to hit it right at the end. Let's not forget our plane is nothing crazy, it's pretty small, so we don't have to hit it right at the end. We gotta drop down a little bit more. Our lights are telling us that we're still okay though. Drop another layer of flaps as we're still going pretty fast. Let's bring back our throttle. Did not realize our throttle was running so high. Looks like we're gonna have to push it down a little bit aggressively. plenty of runway here. Let's not get too aggressive with it. Bring it in nice and slow. There it is. There it is. Plenty of runway here. There we go. On the ground. Let's see, let's pull off to this taxiway here. Taxiway G. Right in front of the flight control tower. Looks like we could probably bring ourselves to the right here. A little bit off our yellow line. Looks like we found a similarly sized plane over there on the left, so we will go ahead and taxi that way. And there is our an hour 43. We beat it. So maybe we cut some corners off, saved ourselves about 7 minutes or whatever. Or I guess it was about 17 minutes. But anyway, that was a long trek to the Big Island. That was a long leg, a little bit longer than I anticipated frankly. But now we next have the leg going from here on the Big Island all the way to the other end of Hawaii to Kauai. So that'll also be a really long flight, but hopefully we see a little bit more and a little bit less of the Big Island. So we'll see you when it comes to that flight. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.